Hey there everyone, I'm Marc Alcubé, the host of Expat Expert podcast, and this video is extracted out of a longer interview that I had with Emma Barbalukas, an American pole dancer and journalist who has Greek roots and came back to Greece to reconnect with them.
Or like this other thing, you're like, come on, like that's not where it came from.
Yeah.
You just look at the history of like who started the first pole dancing studios in the US, like most of them were strippers. So if you want to be part of something, just be part of it. Like that comes with risks and downfalls, but that's just what it is. So, but it's a big thing in the pole community about like people on the one hand wanting it to be respected as an art and a sport, which it is, and trying to distance themselves from like the strip club roots and the strip club aspects of it. And at the same time, there's also a lot of people in the US that are very like connected to that. They might not be a professional stripper or a professional sex worker, but like absolutely there's an aspect of it that like they're getting in touch with their sexuality. They're feeling really good about themselves. Like you're wearing giant heels half the time, you know, like it's just kind of part of the game.
Oh, that's the dangerous part. Yeah.
That's also the dangerous part, the physically dangerous part. In Europe, I shouldn't speak for Europe because I don't have a good sense of it like all over the continent. In Greece, like it's much more like sporty. We compete, we're very serious. You know, a lot of the pole studio owners here are professionals. They compete, they have the schools, they'll dance with the heels and stuff, but like they're not also dancing at the club. Like there are some, but it's definitely not as common here as it is in the States.
Well, if you're a professional stripper and you do pole dance in a club and strip club, it makes a lot of sense that you try to do pole dancing. Like that you take lessons or that you go to these lessons. So I suppose that you encounter a lot of people or some people who are really like doing it because they want to bring it to their strip club dances, which makes sense because it at the end comes from that. So how do you live with the combination of people of like taking it from an artistic perspective versus someone who is taking it for a professional reason?
Yeah, for me personally, like I love all of it. Like I've had like my own issues with it insofar as like problems at work, like in my professional life, or like people seeing stuff that I post on the internet and sending it to my family. Like you kind of have to be willing to take the shit. But I just think like every aspect about pole is like awesome. Like I'm just a kind of abject fan of all aspects. I think people that try to like silo it for themselves, I think are doing themselves a disservice and doing a lot of other people a disservice because they're just not being honest about like the full kind of flowering of the thing. I think there are also people that like, for instance, there are people that are really into it as a sport and want to compete with it. And that's just where their energy is, but that doesn't mean that they have kind of bad feelings about anything else. Like that's also like totally fine. I think the issues that come out a lot in the community are when someone is like, I am not a stripper, okay? Blah, 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 blah. And you're like, well, okay, a lot of us aren't strippers. A lot of us are not professional sex workers, but like kind of like the lady doth protest too much. Like just, you've chosen to get into something that has this in it. If you didn't want to get into that, you should have done like aerial hoop or like aerial silks or like polka dancing or you know, whatever. Whatever you want to do. Salsa, nice. I don't know.
What about clothes-wise? I suppose there is much of it like, because at the end, if you wear too much of like places where you need to put pressure on everything, it gets slippery and therefore your grip, it's not there. So I suppose a lot of the fact that there is less clothes in pole dancing, it's also due to technical reasons around it, no?
Yeah. Well, yes and no. Technically nowadays, because it's a small portion, but like there are some, for instance, Muslim pole dancers and things like that. They have created like pants and shirts and stuff that will stick to the pole. But that's like a new technological development. What you said is 100% correct, which is like, yeah, you need your skin out. Like material does not stick to the pole. Like if you want to grab on your elbow or your thigh, there's a lot of holes on the thigh. There's a lot of holes where like you're on like the back of your leg in weird ways. Like you need to have your skin out. And it can definitely be like potentially dangerous if like you're you think you're going to grip something and you're not going to grip something and your head's back this way, you know.
Exactly, you can fall down directly in your head.
Yeah.
Or strip, like get something stuck in the pool and then the other part is slipping and then you fuck up elbows or like.
Yeah. Like, so that's, on the one hand, like that's 100% true. Like you need to have your skin out, and it's basically impossible to do pole if you're not in at least like short shorts, and even short shorts sometimes like don't give you the grip that you really need, and like a sports bra. That being said, sometimes I feel like people ask the questions is like there's sometimes an attitude of like, oh, you're not wearing that to look like a hoe, you're wearing that because of safety issues.
If you liked this short video out of the full episode, you can find the link to it around here and in the description below. Of course, if you are also interested in checking out other episodes, please subscribe and like.